What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Now, in today's video, I want to give you a quick update on what's happening with Rndr because its price is making an interesting move now that it has pulled back a couple percentages, leaving people questioning what comes next. And so hopefully today I can answer those questions for you and tell you exactly what I'm doing. So with that said, let's not waste any more time at all and let's get straight into the video. Now, guys, don't forget, if you do want to trade some Rndr, you can use the CoinW link down in the description below. You don't need to KYC, meaning you don't need to give them any of your personal information. You can just deposit funds and start trading, and as you do that, you're going to get up to $30,000 in rewards, as well as the fact that you're going to get free access to our trading group, which comes with free tutorials, free spot trade signals, free live trading sessions, free market updates, free charting and updates and technical analysis from pro traders, swing trades, scalp trades, and much more, all completely for free, all needing the CoinW link down below. So make sure that you do go sign up for that. Don't miss out on up to $30,000, guys. You know better than that. So go check that out and let me know what you think, of course, down in the description below. But with that in mind, let's get into Rndr and see what's going on here. Now, in yesterday's video, I was incredibly bullish. I was very happy, very excited about what we were seeing from Rndr, and I still am. The reason why I'm still excited is because no matter what Rndr's price does over the next couple of days or the next couple of weeks, it has now officially put in a new macro higher high off of not only just this high, but it's also put in the macro higher high over this high. Now, I'm a little bit salty at the fact that we did get an equal high on the closes, right? So we closed right here and we closed right here at the exact same level. So technically speaking, from a closing perspective, we've not put in the higher high, but from a wick perspective, we have put in the higher high. Not only did we put in the higher high here, we also put in the higher high here quite evidently. And so because of that, no matter what happens, Rndr has now officially broken this downtrend that it was in, right? We put in the higher lows, we put in a higher high. That now deems that this downtrend that we were in is now over, and of course it enters into a new phase, right? And that's all I'm excited about, the fact that we've now entered into a new phase. Now, don't get me wrong, there is still the risk, okay, that Rndr is going to see some type of ultimate crash down to like $5.40 and continue this macro downtrend. That is possible, although I don't necessarily think it's what's most likely. I'm not going to say it's impossible. Any bad news, any black swan, any crazy thing that happens in the economy or the world could send Rndr down to those levels, but again, I just don't quite think that's what's going to happen. Okay, I think there's maybe a 25 to 30% chance it happens, with about a more of a 70-75% chance that we do something else. Now, what I think that we're going to do is I think we're going to see Rndr's price, if it does start to pull back here, which is not guaranteed, but if it does start to pull back here, I think it's going to find some type of higher low. I think it's going to find some support, use that higher low to continue upwards. That's what I think is going to happen. And so because of that, and expecting that we would look to continue this uptrend over the mid to macro, knowing that what I will be doing is that if we do start to see Rndr venturing towards the $8 levels, $8.50, lower 8s, high 7s, I would actually start looking to accumulate. Now, I'm not accumulating just yet, okay? I'm actually not accumulating on Rndr just yet because I don't think that is just the best time yet, personally, right? It's like, okay, option number one is Rndr continues upwards and has to still deal with this big ass 618 to 786 zone that at any given point can just force the price to the downside. Or it starts to pull to the downside, and then at that point the door opens to a further continuation down to the mid $8 levels, which would be a better buying opportunity. And so because of that, buying directly under a point of resistance to me just doesn't really feel like the best idea, especially considering we were accumulating towards the bottom side of this double bottom that Rndr was looking to put in down here. Okay, and so because of that, what I'm personally doing is I'm just waiting to see what happens. And let me tell you exactly what I'm waiting on. I want to see if one of two things happens. Option number one is that Rndr's price does start to lose some support. And I think that this has a rather decent size chance of happening. I can't put an exact percent number on it, but I think it's a decent size. Let's say maybe around 50%. Okay. Now, what I want to pay attention to is what happens here. Because what you guys remember is that we had this seemingly double bottom structure forming in which we had a point of resistance right here. This is called the MLR. The MLR ranges between $9.70 and $9.50. This little zone served as such a strong point of resistance that now that we are above it, it should serve as a strong point of support. And so knowing that we have this zone directly below us, there's a decent sized chance that Rndr's price is capable of holding $9.50 to $9.40 and using this to continue upwards, okay? And so if its price does continue downwards, I'm still not going to be doing much until we see if this zone is capable of holding. If this zone is capable of holding, I will be maybe looking to buy a little bit of Rndr once its price does then eventually come back up to get daily closes above $10.30. Because at that point, I think we're heading directly to $11.74, and there's more room to the upside there. Okay, so I'm not going to immediately be buying. I would just be doing a little bit of buying once we do see that support is capable of holding by breaking this high that we've been stuck at for quite a while now. But what would end up happening in that situation is that I wouldn't be doing a lot of buying because, again, realistic. Oh Lord, that's crazy. What would end up happening is that, again, what I would likely end up doing is just saying, okay, well, look, we bought a lot of Rndr down here. I don't really see a reason as to be buying Rndr up here, especially if we are in some type of still continuation of this, this leg to the upside here, right? If you bought at the bottom of the leg, buying more in the middle of the leg, it's not really the best thing, right? You want to be buying towards the bottom sides of these things. So that's option number one, okay? Option number two is that Rndr loses support here. Rndr comes back down, it's balancing and bouncing on top of this $9.40 zone, somewhere right here, and it loses support. And at that given point, that is when I would be doing the majority of my buying, okay? I would be doing a lot of buying in between anywhere from $8.80 to $7.60 because my expectation is that Rndr would then look to come back down and find some support somewhere in this little area right here. Maybe it's on top of this trend, maybe it's the Fibonacci zone, right? We can actually just go to this one right here, right? Maybe it's somewhere around this Fibonacci zone here. Boom. So this little area right here is where I'd be looking to do the majority of my Rndr buying, and I would be doing a big buy, like some big buys here, expecting that we would get some type of bounce. And maybe not immediate, right? Maybe I buy a little bit here, a little bit here. It continues downward, but then it bounces to the upside. Something like that is what I would be hoping for, as we are, again, in the next phase of Rndr right now. And I do think that this overall downtrend is over. So it might be downtrend, sideways consolidation, breakout to the upside. And I'm totally fine with that, especially if I can get some more buys in around $7.90, lower $7, high $6. If I can be buying in here, totally okay with me, because I do expect we will see this move to the upside, and that's what I'm trying to prepare for. So overall, my general thesis of the day is that, look, Rndr's not the best buying opportunity right now. I would look to see if it's capable of finding support on top of $9.80 to $9.40. If it's capable of doing so, I will start doing some buying once we do inevitably get that $10.30 close on the daily charts above that level. If we can do that, okay, now we're looking good for a continuation to what could be up to $12. But if Rndr's price is unable to hold support here, and if it does continue downwards, I will be doing the majority, much bigger buying down here, expecting that at that given point, then we will start to look for that move to the upside. So yes, I am saying it can go up or it can go down. What you got to remember, guys, the goal is not to be right. I'm not trying to be an egotistical YouTuber that says, I think it's going to do this, and just hope that I'm right. My whole goal is to prepare for any outcome, any option, anything that Rndr could do. I want to be ready for it, and I want to have a plan in place so that my emotions never come out of check, and that I'm always ready for whatever comes next, so that I can try to capitalize on it as much as possible. So if you guys do enjoy that strategy, if you guys do enjoy this approach, I know it's worked out for a lot of us, and we've made a lot of gains this year so far, and I know that we're going to continue to do so. So if you have been enjoying it, and if you have been enjoying the content recently, Bitcoin, Caspa, Rndr, Jatsme, Solana, and much more, please do let me know by smashing the like button on this video and subscribing to the channel if you are new, and drop a comment down below your thoughts on Rndr and what your favorite crypto is right now. But with that in mind, of course, that is going to be about it, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.